Yo, what's up? It's Greg Santos. I'm here at the LA Convention Center. I was just at a California Associations of Realtor event for a couple of days, and I want to cut into two different interviews from two different people that I admire very much. The first person that I interview is my brother-in-law. His name is Wesley Rocha. He's been a CEO for the last 16 years, and I definitely think he has a lot of advice to give to people who are in the early 20s when it comes to living a more purposeful and successful life. So I definitely think you're gonna enjoy what he has to say about that. The second person I interview here, his name is Steven Gruters, and I look up to him very much as well. One of the best salespeople I've ever met. I worked in like the real estate and also mortgage industry for the last 30 years. He lives in Laguna Hills today, lives very comfortably, was a millionaire by the age of 30. He has a lot of good stuff to say about finding your purpose, living a better life, and I think these are gonna be some good stepping stones when it comes to finding your purpose and living a much better life as you go along in this journey, especially if you're in your early 20s, late teens, mid 20s, wherever you're at in your journey and you want to start living a better life. I definitely think this is going to be some good advice here. So if you like the video, thank you so much. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I appreciate you watching this. All right, so here's my brother-in-law. This is Wesley Rocha. He's been a CEO of a digital marketing company for the last 16 years. So when it comes to living the CEO life, I mean, this guy really knows what it is to its core. So like, Wes, what's some advice you can give to someone who's like 20 years old and trying to like really find their way in the world and live a more purposeful life?
Let's see. That is a very deep question, but I would say, if I'm talking to my own 20-year-old, 19-year-old, 18-year-old self, somewhere right there, I would say something I've learned is just to be kind of more self-aware. I think looking at where you are now and thinking about how you got there and what's moving and what do you want to do moving forward. I think something that happens to a lot of people, and this is kind of where it gets dangerous, and I see it all around, is you tend to get comfortable in whatever stage you're at. Maybe that's a job, maybe that's going to school, maybe that's, you know, staying home and doing nothing. Whatever that is for you, you get comfortable, and then you tend to, when things don't work out, you might look at outside sources of, oh, when this happens, or when this does, then I'll do that, or whatever, kind of waiting for something to push you. But it doesn't really work out that way in life. You have to push yourself. So when I say self-aware, I think that's a very powerful thing, because you're looking at yourself to, what did you do to do that, or what are you feeling, or what is keeping you there? Not outside sources. Is it something in your attitude? Is it something in you being controlling? And that's something I'm aware of. When you're aware of something, you can actually admit it. You're not in denial that you have those problems. You can actually work on it and fix it, and be aware, like, oh shoot, I'm doing that again, and change something about it. So that would be probably it. And that connects to so many other things, I feel like, but just to keep it short, take a kind of checkpoint. Where you at? Why are you there? What did you do to get there? Keep you there? What's keeping you there? And maybe kind of set a limit of like, okay, I'll stay at this job for X amount. If I don't see anything going further or whatever, then just break it before you fall into the comfortability. Because the longer you stay there, the deeper you get, the way harder it is to make that change. And that's just human nature, I guess. So anyway, in a short, I can go on and on forever, and you'll be like, shut up.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And one thing I do want to talk about as well, touch on, is I talk to a lot of people around my age who want to learn more, and they are interested in self-education. They want to read books. They just don't know where to start. You know, self-awareness, that's great. Some people some people watching this have taken that first step. And that's a really huge first step, crucial, and you have to constantly keep working on that as time goes on. But as far as the self-education, that's a very important component of success. Like, where would you recommend someone start when it comes to self-educating themselves so they can start living a more impactful life?
I didn't discover start reading books till I was late 20s, and at that point I was like, crap, I should have been doing this a long time ago because I could have shortcutted a lot of processes and learning. I think it depends where you're at, but just browse the bookstore and think about what is something you want to work on, and just get the book. Maybe an audiobook. I don't read generally, I do everything on audiobooks. Or I direct people to start with going to a Tony Robbins event. Events opened my mind to a lot of things, and I started going to different seminars, different events, and I got involved in masterminds and groups. I started making connections, and then once you're in there, you really start realizing, oh, I see what I've been missing this whole time, connecting the dots. And then everything kind of starts making sense, And Steve Jobs, I think it was Steve Jobs who said this. He said, you really can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. So how those things and what those steps in life and what they end up doing, you can only look backward on how those dots connect.
Wow.
So it's very interesting, very powerful message. But those dots, if you just sit around, you're not taking action, you can almost see where those dots are going to lead you. But if you take risks, you break your comfortability, there's going to be up and downs, but the dots will connect, and then you'll look and say, wow, what a life, and I'm glad I took those actions.
Wow. Awesome, man. Hey, thank you so much, my man. You definitely dropped out there's a lot of great content, man. Where can people find you?
WesleyRocha.com. Check it out.
All right, thank you, my man.
All right, talk to everybody.
All right, so I'm here with Stephen Groot. All right, Stephen, what is some advice you would give to someone who's 20 years old or early 20s and looking to find their purpose in life?
Well, first and foremost, you got to find and identify what you're passionate about, right? What do you like to do for fun? I have 2 children. Both of them went to school to be school teachers. Neither one of them are school teachers because they found out they're not passionate about it, right? My oldest went from being a school teacher to a salesman because he is passionate about helping others. My daughter, she was a school teacher as well, but now she's very passionate about her art. She's a starving artist. But at the end of the day, she's happy because she's passionate about what she does. So if I can give any recommendation to anybody who's a millennial or anybody for that purpose, what are you passionate about? Figure out a way to make money doing it. It's pretty simple.
Okay, but let's say, how would someone go about finding their passion? What if someone doesn't really know what to do? Where do they start?
Well, you got to start internally, right? What makes you happy? What gets you up every single day out of bed? Is it the video game? I coached a kid in hockey one time, and he said to me, Coach, one day we're going to perform heart surgery here in America and China because of the paddles with gaming.
Wow.
He was passionate about gaming. Now he's a developer for Microsoft, right? He was passionate about gaming. If you're passionate about fitness, come up with something that works for you and share it with everybody else. At the end of the day, when it comes to finding your career, you got to find out what you're passionate about. Plain and simple. It's not the easiest thing in the world. You know what my passion is change the experience on the front end for consumers when it comes to real estate. That's what brought me to LinkU. I'm passionate about serving others, and I'm passionate about making people better.
Okay.
What are you passionate about?
Okay.
Kicks my collar.
All right. So let's say a big thing that I see with so many successful people is that they really value education.
Yeah,
Specifically, like
absolutely.
self-education.
Yep.
The thing is, a lot of people don't know where to start. Like, where would you recommend starting as far as going down the path of like self-education toward, because you've dealt with so many successful people.
Yes.
So many successful people. And I'm sure you know that's the trend. Like, where would you say these people, like in the early 20s, late teens, whatever, wherever they're at, and they want to live a better life, where should they start as far as self-education?
Inside. Because all success is a progressive realization of a worthwhile, predetermined personal goal. And the reason why, we had this conversation the other day, the reason why someone doesn't accomplish their goals are 2 reasons. One, it's not crystallized clear enough. Or secondly, they just don't believe in their goal. Write it down, internalize it, believe it.
Websites on there
because
too,
that's your accountability partner. The mirror is another good accountability partner. Look yourself in the face each and every single morning. Are you getting the best out of you? Are you doing what you're passionate about? It's not an easy game, life, But you know what? Life's going to keep coming at us, and how we deflect those road bumps, it's all dependent on our heart and what we're passionate about. Because if your goals and dreams are so clearly defined, there's no such thing as an obstacle. Agree?
Yeah, for sure. What's one book that changed your life more than any other book for career-wise?
Well, there's been 3.
Okay.
Bible's one. The second one is Bo Knows Bo. And the third one and most recent one is Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins.
Amazing
It
book.
literally taught me how to callous my mind, how to do things, get me out of my comfort zone. My word of the year is #uncomfortable. The more uncomfortable I get, the more comfortable I'll get in life.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
I love it, man. I love it.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
yeah, for sure. There's a few things like that I love as well. Like that. That's a really great fucking book. Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I highly recommend picking up that book.
Right.
All right. Thank you guys.
All right, see you guys soon.